All right, that was, of course, Commerce Secretary joining us earlier on Squawk Box right here on CNBC, talking about the markets. Obviously hearing some different things in terms of capital flows than perhaps he is at this point or hoping for. Let's get to a mad dash. As you might expect, it centers on those companies, in fact, that will get hurt, initially at least, a lot as a result of this increase in tariffs in particular places where shoes are manufactured.
Right, and I see Nike go down a lot, and I just want people to know that this is another one you can run, but you can't hide. On 90% of Vietnam. And Vietnam is, again, when people say, as Flexport said to us, that's the bomb.
Right.
People move to Vietnam, and that's the bomb. I know Deckers is hurt. I don't know.
Deckers is 64. We have it at CNBC is 64% Vietnam, 20% China.
Vietnam was the one that people
very similar move, Jim, and Deckers as well, about 16, 17%. We can take a look.
The $136 billion that is we do with Vietnam, and I've got to tell you, that's turned out to be the one that people thought if we go to Vietnam we're safe, and it was just dead wrong. It was the most wrong.
I remember when Carl went to Vietnam during the first Trump administration.
Yeah, they were doing all the right things. We took note, though, that label washing's a thing, and it's easy to move goods through a third country to try to avoid some of these labels. Yes, they obviously are intent on blocking that.
They sure are. They sure are.
By the way, what about the Mexico manufacturing? You know, China putting factories in Mexico. That wouldn't seem to be impacted in part, though, by...
No, they're getting away with it right now. I don't think they're going to get away with it.
So you think there'll be more there?
Yes. There will.
Because that's only saying 20...
Mexican parts is really a very big flashpoint for the American companies, and they don't know the answer. Even the top people don't know the answer about the Mexican parts and how it's going to play out. Very interesting.
Meantime, we're waiting for Europe's response. The German vice chancellor today says last night's decision is comparable to the war of aggression against Ukraine, and that any response must be similar in scope.
See, I was going to bring that up because on Frank Holland's excellent show this morning, the German market was up.
Yeah. Oh, Europe's going to outperform us today.
Outperform
for sure.
again, and I think a lot of people just say, you know what, I keep sending money over there and I win, so I'm going to keep sending money over there. And those economies are being juiced by a wartime economy. You know, they're spending a lot. Look, the Germans changed their view. The Germans have decided to go deficit spending. Another area that is a battleground will be enterprise software, because it's not made, it's not taxed, it's not got tariff. But will there be elongated cycles as businesses say, wait a second, I can't spend? So that's an area that I'm really working on today. Is ServiceNow helped or hurt?